Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock, which means it's time for another video. And today I have a super exciting interview with two legends in the Magic community that are teaming up, and we're going to be telling you all about it. So who am I speaking to today? Well, I'm speaking to the first person is arguably one of the busiest working professional magicians in the country, somebody who has fooled Penn and Teller, somebody who has literally changed the game when it comes to tech magic. And then the other person is somebody who is considered as one of the top, if not the top, creator and innovator of magic in the last decade. These two are teaming up, and it is super exciting news. I am here with the one and only Roddy McGhie and Noel Qualter. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, great. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, I think you've got the wrong guy. I think there's been some sort of mix-up.
Well, no, I haven't. And this is exciting. And let me tell you why it's exciting. There's lots of magic companies in the world. There's lots. And very rarely do new companies come out. It's normally the same people, but releasing trick after trick after trick. And occasionally you get independent creators. But it's very rare to have a new company like formed from scratch. And that's what we have here. And it's what I want to talk about. But genuinely, you guys are so established in your field. Like, you've both bought out best-selling tricks. I mean, you, Roddy, you literally, I think it's fair to say that for the last, 7, 8 years, however long it's been, you put Penguin Magic on the map. You took them to an entire new level. Some of the best tricks that they've ever bought out are your creations, and right now their biggest seller at the moment is Lucid. Probably their best seller and the most iconic trick of all time is Little Door. Both of those are your creations. Like, your name is synonymous right back from the full 52 days all the way up to present day. Your name has been synonymous with really kind of innovative, out the box, creative thinking, taking a totally different approach to anything. I don't want you to sell yourself short. You're amazing.
Oh, thanks. You're amazing too.
It's true. And Noel, like I said, you've bought out. I've said this to people in the past. You're not the sort of person to bring out 1,000 tricks a year, but know that every single time you bring out a trick, it's been worked. It's something very different to anything else out there. It's commercial. You always approach everything from a commercial point of view, and how, something that's practical for a worker to do. Yeah, but really innovative methods as well. I still remember the first time I saw your Bill and Sharpie routine, and when I realized how it worked, I was like, that is bloody mental. And the two of you teaming up, this is incredible. So tell me, first of all, how this came to be, because it's kind of come out the blue. Where did the new company is called Trick Boom?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Well, I will tell my version, and Roddy can join in as well. So I've wanted to do it for ages, because, like you said, I'm magic nuts. I'm always thinking about ideas, and I'm always speaking to Roddy as well about stuff. But I know that when it finish, I'm so. What makes me hopefully a smart creative magician is that my mind wanders. What makes me a bloody nightmare to work with is that my mind wanders. So it's finishing tasks. And now, in truth, both of us are fully ADHD and terrible at finishing tasks. But in the hope that between the two of us, we will strengthen each other. And but yeah, I nagged Roddy for ages and ages and said, look, we're always talking about tricks, and if I, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll ring him about the daftest thing, and we'll start banging, not even an idea. I'll just say, wouldn't it be cool if you had a stick that was really made of Marmite? Like, the craziest thing. Like, I don't even know what the trick is. And we'll end up turning it into something. And I thought, you know what? This is sort of a waste, because, I haven't got the motivation to finish the task. Roddy can't really, because of his Penguin commitments and things like that. I was like, let's do this properly, because whenever we bang ideas around, gold comes out, I think. We both have different skills, but I think together we make each other better.
Yeah, I totally agree. What about yourself, Roddy?
Yeah, I would just, what he said. Yeah, no, totally. That is just Noel has been, we've been friends for years, and as he said, we constantly sort of fire ideas off each other. But really, I mean, you know yourself, creating magic. When I started working with Penguin, suddenly it's that whole thing of your kind of passion and your hobby becoming your job, right? So the pressure to create becomes so much more because it's your job to do it, right? It's not a sort of pleasurable pursuit, as it were. I mean, it's still good, you know. That moment of getting an idea is absolute nectar. It's the best feeling, right? But you know, I went through a period where I really struggled, and every single time I talk to Noel, he inspires me in some way, right? Like, as he said, he will throw out some random comment about, wouldn't it be good if you could turn a sheepdog into a Coke bottle or something, right? You know, something better than that, right? But just something totally random, and suddenly it sparks. There's a little light goes off in my head, and I go, oh. And it gives me, it's grist for the mill. It gives me something to think about, and I love that working on a problem and on an idea, and then just to be able to have this safe kind of conversation where you can just fire out anything, right? And it's difficult because for a lot of years I would have a lot of magicians contacting me saying, I've got this, I've got half an idea, what do you think? And the temptation just to go, oh, I can fix that, I can turn that into something. It's so strong, you know, and you want to just kind of do this all the time. So to be able to do it, we know it's like they're just this perfect two-way street that we're constantly throwing ideas out. And like you said, you know, most of the time there's a glimmer of gold at the very least at the start, you know. So he's been nagging me for years, and eventually I was like, right, let's do it. You know, we've got too many really good ideas just to leave them floating about there, you know.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. And we're going to talk about products in a bit. We're going to talk about the launch products in a bit. But first of all, let me ask you both, what are the plans for this company? Like, are you wanting to be the next Vanishing Ink? Are you wanting to like have conventions? Are you wanting to like have magic shops everywhere and sell everything? Or are you looking for a place where kind of you have these amazing ideas and you want to bring those out, you know, through your own company? Like, what are the goals when you sat down and you were like, right, okay, trick, boom, Roddy McGhie, Noel Qualter coming together. It's like the mega powers, you know, from the old days in WWE. The mega powers are coming together. We're going to create this incredible moment. What's the plan with the company moving forward? Because I know you're both very ambitious.
Yeah, we're going to be like Vanishing but with a soul. No, no. I don't. Do you know what? That is a great question, and I think we're probably meant to have this big dream, this big vision. I certainly see us being short to medium term being one of the magic production companies where people say, "Oh, wow, cool! They're coming up with something. I'm super excited." I think we will. We'll certainly be creating our own stuff. That's for sure. We've got ideas to work with some people who've come up with some brilliant ideas, and that me and Roddy have sort of workshopped as well. So we'll work with other creators, and in time, I can see us adding other products and growing. Whether we'll ever be, you know, a general magic shop, I don't know. But certainly the focus is always going to be on me and Roddy's daft pipe dreams and crazy sort of mind that we've formulated into real stuff. And but yeah, so who knows where it'll bring us? But certainly medium term, we're looking at being you know, one of the bigger magic production companies, sort of in the UK at least, certainly.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole idea was, right, it gives us a platform, as Noel said, it gives us a platform to release our own things without there being any constraints, you know, because you do get that a lot in the business. There are constraints in what is possible and stuff like that, you know. But we really wanted, like you said, there's a lot of magic shops out there, and we didn't want to be just another magic shop like everyone else selling the same kind of things. We want our stuff to be unique and just really different and kind of offbeat, with really clever methods or you know, clever gimmicks. Just fun and different from everyone else, really. You know, we're still selling the same thing. We're still selling the magic and the ideas, but we want to sort of stand out. Our products, we have very similar taste in magic, Noel and I. So that's another really good point. We just like wacky stuff, really. You know, so I mean, wacky, but wacky miracles, right? Not just silly magic. But it would be good to, and we love working with other people as well. As Noel said, there's a few people that we've spoken to that have shown us great things, and we've helped build those. But yeah, who knows where it's going to go. We just want to share the stuff we've got already. We've got such a backlog of ideas that I'm desperate to start working on. So yeah.
Well, I have questions. So the first question is, the products that you bring out, are they going to be exclusive through you, or are you going to be eventually distributing them through Murphy's Magic? Are they going to be a combination of stuff? Like maybe sometimes you'll bring something out which is just through you, then other times it'll come out through Murphy's. You know, for people that are all over the world that sometimes don't necessarily want something shipped from the UK because of, you know, Brexit or whatever it may be, what's the plan in terms of distribution of the stuff that you're doing?
Shall I have a go? This is you can join in.
Yeah.
So we've got so obviously this first trick we wanted to make as much noise as possible. So we're going to go through Murphy's for this because every dealer will have access to buy it should they want to, and make as much noise so people hear our name. But what the future comes, you know, whether we'll find our own way to release stuff, whether we'll do it just on our own, maybe a combination, who knows? But this one was almost as much about the publicity and let's get everyone to know about it because we're so excited about it. When it comes to distribution, though, we have got our own little. We've got Trick Boom America, which sounds more exciting than it actually is. But we've got a friend in America who will be shipping out our stuff from America. So I know American magicians don't want to order from England because it's a faff. It's a faff. So if anyone does, then we will quite happily ship to them from the good old USA. So we'll be able to send it to them direct.
You guys have really thought this through, haven't you? This isn't just like Ruskin. Should we do this? Yeah, let's do it. Like you've really kind of like thought this through.
Yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate what a task that is for people like us, right? Like Noel said, being unable to focus on any task. And like, honestly, Noel has done so much work, and his greatest skill, and it's something that I don't have at all, is being able to sort of delegate, almost be able, like, I know that if I say to Noel, we need someone that can do this, then Noel will say, I know a guy, and he'll get on it, right? And I cannot do that. I can't do that kind of thing. So I'm saying, look, I'll do as we call it, the busy work, where, sorry, that's my wife sending, oops, what did I do? I opened that.
You're all right.
That's my wife sending me a picture from there in Alton Towers just now. So anyway, yeah, I'm like, right, can I just do the sitting in my workshop and just making 1,000 gimmicks? And then you do all the website stuff and the mailing list stuff and all the stuff I can't get my head around. I would rather just sit and score 2,000 cards. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we were a good mix, you know. But yeah, we've tried to think out every little detail of it, other than we don't know where it's going, right? We just want to get it off the ground and see where it goes, you know.
And we're excited. We're excited about the journey as well, because that's the thing. Is,
oh yeah,
like Roddy sort of intimated before, but it's true that obviously magic is, if you're a part of the big guys, it's a business, and it's a dead-eyed business. Does this? Can you make margin with this? Is this the right thing to do? And with me and Roddy, all we've got to do is convince the other person, and we're both, you know, giddy idiots basically. So if we can, you know, even if we think of something, we think, you know what, I'm not entirely sure if this is so out there whether it's the right thing to do or not. But if we're excited about it, we're just going to do it, because, like, it's just us. Like, if you know, we hope everything will be absolute monsters. But you know what? As long if it pleases us and we're excited about it, we might take a punt on things, because it's our imagination, and we don't want anyone saying no to us. We can be slightly rebellious. We can say, you know, we've got you know, tricks to come in the next few months, and they're all brilliant and unique. But some of them might not be for everybody. They're, you know, maybe it's, you know, everything is always sold as, it's great. You can do it in restaurants, you can do it at weddings, you can do this, that, and the other. You know what? Some things are a bit out there. Maybe they've just got an audience, a smaller audience, but they're bloody brilliant for that smaller audience.
Yeah, I mean, we've got things that are like puzzles almost, or akin to sort of Tenyo type things, which seem a bit silly, but will I hope will baffle people. And then we've got other things that are more heading towards your kind of like sort of, you know, peak devices, that other end. Nothing's off the table. Do you know what I mean? If we come up with something that we think's an amazing stage piece, we'll do it. If it's a kid's trick that is brilliant and full and adults are going to love it too, then we'll do that as well. You know, that's the thing. We don't have to pass this through a board. We don't have to show everyone and get opinions on it. Although we most certainly do that. You know, we know a lot of other very knowledgeable and magicians that we can go to and say, what do you think of this? You know, we like to, because Noel and I in our little bubble, he's right, we might come up with something that's just so out there that only he and I would buy it, right? So we do have a lot of people that we can share things with and say, what do you think? You know, which is great having that network, you know.
And what I suppose the question I've got to ask you is there a particular type of magic or mentalism that you're going to kind of gravitate towards? And following on from that question, what is there something that you're planning on doing to differentiate yourself? So, for example, the most recent company that formed about 3 years ago was the 1914, you know, and Mental House, is it the Louis Lavelle company? Both of those companies are kind of mentalism based. You know, you kind of think of them as hardcore mentalists, billets. You're not going to go there for a new ambitious card routine. No. You look at a different company, and you know, different companies produce different things, and different things differentiate different companies. Like in the old days, up until maybe COVID, Alakazam, who we all know, they were kind of known as, hey, they're going to bring out something with specially printed cards. But these days, with everything they've been doing on social media, that's kind of helped them gain a new audience, and they're doing a lot of stuff with coins and everything. Is there a particular audience that you're going for? Is there a type of magic that you want to have kind of typify what your company is all about? And is there anything that you're wanting to do to kind of establish yourself in a particular genre?
Well, I think we've got, certainly our focus is going to be quirky, subversive magic that is powerful, but that is designed for gigging magicians, because we're both workers. Yeah. So we, like we said, we love quirky, we love slightly out there, things that are slightly left of center. All that craziness is good. We don't want a straight line, and because good magic is a surprise. It's like a great joke. It's just that huge surprise. And we love thinking, you know, just what weird direction. You get to this point, where does it turn and go in this crazy direction? Which is what we want to do with a new trick. But it's also what we want to do with every trick. We want that huge surprise and those creative choices. So we always want all of our magic to have that hallmark that someone could look at it and go, that's sort of trick, boom, trick, because it's out there, but also super commercial.
Yeah, just in the same way that you kind of look at Tenyo and you say, you know what you're going to get from Tenyo, something really different and unusual and really puzzling and stuff. But as Noel said, we've both been working, and we work regularly and have done for years. So we know what audiences like, right? And it's just distilling all that knowledge that we've kind of picked up about the business and about performing for people over the years, try to distill it into each little performance. You know, we are kind of guilty of just trying to create closers, these just big, whoa, you know what I mean? big impact things. But, you know, why not? Why not just do 3 of those awesome trick, boom tricks, 3 closers, and then move on to the next table? Do you know what I mean?
That's amazing. And I got one other question. You mentioned earlier on about working with other artists, and you've seen other people that you know that they do really good stuff. If there's somebody that's sitting here listening to this interview and they're like, you know what, I want to be a creator. I've got a great trick. I've always been a big fan of Roddy and Noel. That would be a perfect fit for me. What do those people need to do to get onto your radar? Because, you know, that's the big buzz in magic these days, isn't it? Oh, I want to release a trick. How do I do that? How do I approach a company? How do I, you know, and I know you guys long enough to know that you're very accessible at the best of
Yeah.
time. So, like, I imagine this is going to be, you know, an easy process. But for people that are listening, what do they need to do to get on your radar?
Well, we are the friendly guys. I mean, like I said, we aren't big corporate entities. We are just two guys that bloody love magic. So we've got the Trick Boom. We're on the socials. Well, I set up Instagram and Facebook at the moment, so you can find us on there. Haven't done Twitter, as Elon Musk is a terrible person, but I've who knows, maybe even that'll come about. But at the moment, Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us on trickboom.com. So you can drop us an email or contact us via the socials and just say hello and say, look, I've got a thing. And then we'll go from there. You know, we'll ask you a little video. You can trust us. We're not, you know, if we don't want to, if we can't do anything with it, we'll send you off in the right direction, maybe with some good advice. And if we do want to work with you, we will put our life and soul into it, because me and Roddy, and I'm keeping him up far too late talking about daft ideas for magic tricks and trying to make things better. And it is, our life is a massive part of our life. So if we can throw that energy into somebody else's idea, and like Roddy said, if they're half there or they're 2/3 there, we can make that shortfall and hopefully shine it up and make it into a great product. But yeah, certainly, if any creators are out there and they've got any ideas that they'd like to release, drop us a line. We'd love to chat.
And I'm sure we will probably be giving people the best deal they can possibly get in the magic industry, because Noel and I have both been through that. And, you know, as I'm sure you have as well, Craig, you know, especially at the start, you give your ideas away for buttons, really, you know, just to get something out there. And yeah, we're not the big bad guys, you know. Hopefully we're the big good guys.
We could still be the big bad guys, and we present very nicely. We're not. We're the good guys. I mean, the bad guys would still say they're the good guys. We are. Yeah,
we've been there. I mean, we've been there as well, right? We've been there. So if we can support someone, if we can give them the best deal and a deal that works for them and works for us as well, then yeah, that would be great, you know. But just now, mainly our focus is on stuff we've created, because we, like I said, we have quite a list. And it's just really one of the hardest things is, at the moment, we're trying to nail down what we're going to do for our second release, because we're just, oh, that one's good. Oh no, but what about this one? And, you know, so we're kind of focusing on that for now. But we'd love to see stuff. You know, it might not be something that we'd be able to produce and release immediately, but you never know. You know, we're not. We're open to all ideas, and we'd love to see ideas from other people as well, especially on our new trick. We're definitely going to have a Facebook page for that, just to see people's ideas. You know,
we're definitely going to be talking about that in a minute, because your launch title is amazing. But before we do, one other question: do you find, or is there any, you know, a conversation I've had with somebody recently is about creator burnout, and it's like, hey, you know, I don't want to say who, but a top creator in the industry, you know, he was saying to me, oh, I haven't created anything for 6 months. It's gone. I don't seem to be able to get any good ideas. Now, you guys have released some of the most iconic magic of all time. Like genuinely, like one of my favorite tricks ever is Little Door. One of my favorite tricks ever. I still think IDeck, which is your first trick, is still one of the best ever made, ever. You've both come up with some great stuff. Do you worry about, now you've got your own company, you know, the source of revenue for this is for you coming up with ideas? You have to be an idea, or is it totally not a thing? It's like, hey, we've got ideas bursting out of our brain. It's exactly the opposite problem. You know, is that a concern, or is that not an issue at all?
Well, do you know, it is a concern for me. It's always been a concern for me, because I've been through it. I have it all the time. And it's such a dopamine high when you get an idea, that little light bulb moment, and you start working towards something. You think, oh, I've maybe got something here. It's such a rush that you chase it all the time. And when you don't have it, you start like, oh my God, I've run dry. And it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling, especially, like you said, if your livelihood depends on it. I'm a worrier. So yeah, that's something I worry about. But no, always reassures me and says, we've got ideas for days. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll have ideas for days. And he's right. If we just spend, you know, a few hours in a room together, then we're definitely coming up with something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do worry about it. Everyone does that, you know, has to come up with ideas.
Roddy always worries. It's true. We are. I think it's easier when it's two of you because you haven't got to do the whole thing. When it's just you, let's say you go into a pound shop and you see some plastic bit of crap, and you look at that and you think,
I do.
Which I do. I think we all do. Anyone that's got a mind about creating things, I wonder if that hinges, or if that could flip that round in this other way, or maybe there's a trick in there. If you're focusing on that, you've got to find all the answers yourself. You've got to go, maybe I'll source the bits and pieces, then I'll get the thing manufactured, and then there's every way to be derailed. When it's me and Roddy, I can say, I mean, as simple as this, and we've done it over the last few days. I've said, Nick, wouldn't it be cool? I've seen something on the internet. I went, that is a cool object. What's the trick? We don't even know what the trick. Literally, just that is a cool object. If we can do that and throw it against each other, maybe he then sends me back something saying, "Have you thought about it being, twice the size or half the size or any other of these things?" You know what? We're just playing tennis, bang, back and forth with each other, and I feel so much more relaxed, thinking, you know what? Then creating is fun again. If we are in the same room, we will always create because we can't help it.
Yeah. I don't think you guys are going to have a problem at all. Which brings me on to your launch title, which I'm telling you right now, use this as a quote. This is one of the best tricks I've ever seen. This is probably the best card to. It's not even a card to impossible location. It's a mind fuck. It's just the weirdest thing ever. And I want to talk about it because obviously it's now been officially released, so we can talk about it. And I mentioned very early on in this interview that your background is in tech magic. You know, you're known not as a performer, and one of the things that you do a lot of is the iPad magician. But we go back to one of your very first releases, like I just said, it was all based on iPods. And what if I took a deck of cards and built it into an iPod? Like, where did this idea come from? Tell me about the trick. And was this more influenced by you as somebody who thinks about tech more, or is this somebody, or where did the initial idea come from for this particular routine? Because it feels like a Noel trick, but with Roddy's kind of creative influence on it as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So so the whole journey with this was I had do you know what? I've been working on these things for a long time. This is a relatively short period of time, but last November, so coming up for a year, I got asked by a company to do custom tech magic for them. And I had a lot of things to do that week. And it doesn't show me the greatest light. I thought, you know what, it's fine. I've got a few bits and pieces I can do. But one of the things I might do, and I'd thought about this maybe a few weeks before, was I'd seen little dollhouse laptops. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get a sticker, and I'm going to put a sticker of Paris on there. And then it's going to be DFB. And I'll produce it from the screen in a similar but not as elegant way as we have now. And then it'll just be a DFB reveal or something to do with their brand. And it was Toshiba, so they were a laptop company. I was going to get a little sticker and make it look like it was Toshiba that come up with this little mini laptop. And then I bought a little plastic laptop. I remember looking at the Magic Circle. In fact, I remember exactly where I was in the Magic Circle, and I was looking, thinking, this laptop's good, but it's plastic. It's a bit kind of crappy. And I looked online. I thought, I wonder if there's a metal one. And I looked at it, and the size, I started looking at him, that's the same size as a folded card. That looks like a folded card. And I remember like sort of tapping people on the shoulder. I mean, not quite as crazy, but pretty much saying, look, stop drinking, stop chatting and having fun. Look at this. And no one cared. Like I was the only person going, these are the same. This looks like a folded card. I couldn't believe it. Went straight back, had a deck of cards made within a couple of days, and it turns out that a deck of cards when folded up into quarters is within a mil the same size as this mini laptop, and that was sort of the start of it. And I said to Roddy, I definitely want to do this trick, let's work on it, and this can be our first release, because the handling then becomes Roddy's ideas on routining and all that stuff has been great. And between the two of us, I sort of fused it. But certainly it started off with, I can't believe this has fallen into my lap. That when I realised that that a folded card and a laptop, that mini laptop, were the same.
Yeah, I mean, that it's one of those things where you kind of think, why has nobody else thought of this before? Surely this should have been obvious to somebody. And then it's like, nope, no one's thought of this before. It's one of those moments where you look at it and you go, oh my gosh. And for those people who haven't seen the trailer yet, first of all, stop and watch the trailer. It's one of the best trailers I've ever seen of all time. It's amazing.
We love it.
If that's the standard you've set for your Magic trailers for your products, you got a long way to. I mean, bloody hell, I don't know how you're going to hit that again. Amazing trailer. But for those people that haven't seen it, the idea is that you produce, and I want to talk about this production because it's so clever. You produce the laptop out of a borrowed phone. Insane, just there. You borrow somebody's phone and you produce a laptop from their screen. That could be sold as a trick in its own right, FYI. We'll talk about that in a second. But then you give the people the laptop. They have a card picked from a deck of cards. They're using the laptop to find the card. They fail, depending on the handling that you go for. And then eventually, at the end, they look at the laptop that's been in their hand the whole time. And then they realize it's not actually a laptop. They realize it looks like a laptop. It's a folded up card. And when they unfold it, it's their signed card. It reminds me of one of those moments where, like a Gate and Bloom style thing where it's just like, hang on, what? It was in my hand and it was a laptop. The routining behind this is genius. Like, absolutely. It's why I say it's one of the best tricks I've ever seen. It's so commercial. But when you first showed it me, you were producing the laptop from your phone. And this is what I want to point out, because you could have released this trick and you could have had the laptop come from your phone. Nobody would have said anything.
No.
Nobody would have gone, well, that's crap. It would be much better if we produced it from somebody else's phone. Nobody would have said that. They would have gone, that's a cool moment. He could have just brought the laptop out. I like that he's included that. But you then spent money getting Mark Kirstein.
Don't mention money with Mark, but yeah. We asked. Let's still with that. We asked.
You went back and forth with sexual favors or something. I don't know. But you and Mark came to some sort of arrangements to develop this thing that allows you to produce it from their phone. That shows me how conscientious you are as a production company, because that's not something that you needed to do. And I knew you had a method already that would have been perfectly good. And it's not like you can sell it for any extra by having that. So that was literally just put in there because as the people that are creating this trick, you wanted to give the best possible way of performing it to the end user. I love
Roddy's idea. Roddy said, can we do it with Spectator's phone? And I've obviously, produced tens of thousands of things from phones. I was like, yeah, I think so. It seemed easy enough, and then rang Mark immediately. But yeah, if Roddy hadn't started that, we wouldn't have had that little bit. And you're absolutely right. All of those little details are so, like, as we know, magic in the spectator's hands is the strongest you can do, and visual magic is brilliant. And we thought, you know what? If we can combine this, we've got, I'd say, one of the most visual magic tricks you can do, and then you get that finish where it's happening either on their hands or on the table, but it's got that incredible magical finish as well. So normally, if visual magic, for me, is great, but doesn't tend to hit as hard as magic in the hands, or no one's running screaming from Three Fly, I would assume. Cover your ears, but you get the idea. No one's running across a basketball court after watching Three Fly.
No.
They might think it's beautiful and pretty and skillful.
Yeah. Or Matthew Wright's one, though.
Maybe
right.
Yeah, that might make. Yeah, but Matthew Wright's a completely different beast. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Most of the time when you go, oh, that's pretty. How it's like when people at gigs say that sleight of hand that you guys do, isn't it clever? And you go, I like clever. Clever's nice, but I want to kick them so hard, and that's where you get to magic in the hands or magic with their items. So to fuse those two things together is an exciting moment.
Yeah, I mean the whole it was kind of finished. It was sort of finished at that point, and I was just like, oh, it'd be so good. It would be so good if you can say, oh, can you just look this up on your phone and do it? Because you get that thing where if you produce things from your phone or anything really with your phone, it gets the reaction, oh, that's a surprise. And you can see people going, or you even sometimes hear them saying afterwards, after the surprise is subsided, that's a lot of S's, they kind of go, oh, it's just an app, isn't it then? You know, they'll probably just assume it's an app that was on your phone. But when you do it with their phone, you leave them with, I mean, I was delighted at what Mark was able to do, because I didn't think it was possible, but it's great. So what you leave them with is the whole story, because it's on their phone. They have the page, the laptop's missing, they can go back, they can refresh it.
There's no evidence
coming back. It's gone, right? And they have the card, you know, and they can say, he produced this little metal laptop, and then I chose a card and I signed it and it turned into the laptop. You know, they've got the whole story there, which is always good. Magic is always better on the retailing, so it's good that they've got all the bits. And yeah, I was excited about it when we were able to do it. And I did say, you know, I kind of sensed this from what you were saying, that you're maybe going to ask about this. But when Noel showed me it working, I was like, oh my God, you realise what we've got here? I was like, this could be a whole thing in its own. We can do a whole load of things like this, where you can borrow a phone and you can pull a banknote out of someone's phone, or you can do whatever, all the stuff you normally do. We have a way now of doing it on someone else's phone. So it would be crazy just to limit it to this trick. I think it's something we should look at, you know, because yeah, that whole thing, you know, pulling it off their phone, handing it back to them. It's a great moment. It's a great moment.
A great opener. You know, we've all been at gigs where we go, pick a card. I've seen that one. And it's like, oh, can you lend me your phone? Hey, look at this website. Boom, hold that. Like immediately, you've established yourself as somebody who's doing stuff that nobody else does.
Like just doing like sponge balls, and you produce one and you're actually, can you look up spongeballs.net? There we go. There's another one. You know, there's loads of things you could do, and you leave them with their own phone and no evidence of how it happened, you know. I think there's much more potential in it, but, you know, we shall see.
I certainly think when it comes to, you know, we've all done gigs where someone said, oh, I seen this guy and he did this trick. And it was, let's say it was bottle through table, which I always associate with the story. He had this trick and he put the bottle through the table, and midway through your performance, they start regaling the table with a story of someone else, another magic trick that they can't see and that they got no evidence of. And, you know, often they'll murder the story, it'd be inaccurate, but it also derails your performance. With this, I hope that in months or years to come, someone will say, I watched a magician pull a laptop from a phone without detail. That's even more amazing, without a clarifying detail. And then it eventually became my signed card, and I've got it in my wallet. And because they've got the, you know, people keep folded cards from amazing tricks, and they're great. And the story might be, oh, you couldn't believe it. It was inside an envelope, inside a wallet, which is a good trick. But you know what? It hasn't got that, like I said, like Roddy said, that part of the story. With this, they've got the whole blooming story. They can keep that forever. And as a giveaway, you know, if you gig to be able to have a cool giveaway, something with power that looks pretty, then this is perfect for that.
Oh, yeah, really people say all the time, and they always kind of say, "Oh, can I keep this?" Like they're really surprised that you let them keep it. So, which is always great, and it's just a card. You know, it's just a card with a different back design. That's all it is. But when you put it together, it makes it so much more special. You know.
I'm guessing refill packs are going to be available for people.
Yeah, absolutely. They should. Probably a week or two from this airing, they'll be out. In fact, Roddy is my glamorous assistant is modelling. But we wanted to make them affordable as well, because we say it in the trailer and we absolutely believe it. And it sounds like big old hype. But I think this might well be one of the sort of the most commercial tricks of a generation. And in order for that to happen, for people to actually gig it and repeatedly do it, the refills have to be widely available, and they have to be a reasonable price, so as you don't think, it's not that I might do it for the top table. This is, you can do it 10, 12 times a night. Just go through, bang through it, because the thump you get with this trick, I think it's up there with double cross and omnideck and all those other, classic closers.
I think this will be a perennial classic. I think this is something genuinely, I'm calling it now. There's very few tricks that achieve this status, but this is the thing that people are going to carry on buying in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. You know as well as me, there's tricks that come out and then 6 months later, no one's heard of them. And there's very few tricks, but occasionally you get tricks that come out that everybody recommends. I'm new into magic. What should I get if I do a gig? Oh, well, you need to get this. I think this is going to be one of those tricks. I really do. And I do. I really do. For years, I've done, and this is not the same thing at all, but I think you can see where I'm going with this. For years, I used to do Look Sharp by Wayne Goodman, which is a great trick. That moment where they're holding onto the pen and they realize that the pen is the card, and then they unfold it, and it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. But I could never have the card signed. And I spent years trying to figure out how to have the card signed. And I couldn't do it because you'd have to fold it up and roll it. It just wasn't possible. And the reaction I got from doing that without a signature on it was insane. This takes it to an entirely new level because A, it's not a pen. It's this laptop that you've just pulled out the phone that's in their hand the whole time. But B, it's signed. I mean, what? And it's not even that hard to do. Like the handling, and I know you met up with me ages ago. You were going back and forth on handlings. You wanted to make it accessible and make it as easy as possible. So even somebody really new into magic would be able to do this. And I think that you've managed to accomplish that on the tutorial. The different handlings that you've got makes it accessible for absolutely everybody. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that was sorry, I'm talking over you, know. Do you want to take this one?
Well, I was only going to say, Pete Nardi, who I better mention, otherwise it'll kill me, was invaluable because no one knows how to really remove all the fat work for a trick. So for my routine that I do, that handling is all Pete Nardi because I want, like you said, I want to make it as simple as possible, as accessible as possible, and just so as, because there's two parts to a trick. There is certainly for this trick, there is the skill element, which we're going to talk about in a moment, but is fine. We've done all we can to strip the back. There's a tiny amount of sleight of hand. And then there's also the courage element. And we, in the video, will give you all the tools to deal with that, because there is a small moment of courage, but that's what you will get with our training wheels we talk about on the video. If you're super new and you're super scared, why don't you start like this? If you get a little bit more confidence, maybe you go to this middle thing. And then we'll just carry on. We will teach you the way.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really intend I know it's nothing compared to yours, Craig. I mean, I think we were coming in about 3 hours at the tutorial. That's like your introduction, isn't it? Normally, so but we didn't expect it to be that long. But we realised we were so excited about it, and as you said, we spent so long gigging this. And we were every night, we would talk about it, we'd have a breakdown. I'd be driving home from my residency and I'd say, okay, right, so I did mini book 4 times tonight and I did it 4 different ways. And we would break down over the hour's journey of me driving back. I would break down and know what was good and what wasn't, what was wrong. And a lot of it was calculating. A big breakthrough for me was realizing that the reaction was so diminished if the time between them handling the real laptop and the reveal was too long, even by a few seconds. So it was like getting it down to this perfect thing. And also, like Noel said, that fear of Mercury folding for a start, right? If you've never done the Mercury fold, we go through that. The cards are printed in such a way, with the lines on it, that they're very easy to score. You absolutely have to score these to get this perfect, right? I mean, Noel and I have probably Mercury folded about 1 billion cards between us over the years, but even I wouldn't do this without it being scored. But when it's scored, and if you've folded a scored card, it's like butter. It's so easy to do. And then we went into so much detail, like trying to break down all those points of misdirection. So like I personally think that if you've never, there's nothing sweeter than misdirection magic than getting away with a bit of misdirection and knowing that you're miles ahead of it, right? When you switch something and they haven't noticed, like those little moments where they're holding an Omni deck and you're getting to talk for a while, or something's changed on the table, whatever. It's so good as a magician. It's so much fun. So we wanted to really milk as much as that as we could get, into this sort of routine. So we want people to do that who have never done that kind of magic before. We want them to feel that thrill because it's so thrilling. So that's why we made it so simple, so you can get a taste of what it's like to get that strong misdirection. The sleight of hand is minimal. I mean, from working for a magic company for years, I've been sort of trained in. I've had it drilled into me to cut out sleights and stuff and make it easy for people to. And personally, I'm no slouch when it comes to sleights, really. But I want to make everything as easy as possible. I want to focus on the presentation. And if that means using a gimmick or changing it somehow, then I will, But I think we've really, like you said, and as Noel said, we spent a long time just trimming the fat to get it as lean as possible. So, and we've got like unsigned routines, and we've got signed routines and different switches and stuff like that.
And there's versions as well without even doing the Mercury. We talk about if you've never done that scary folder, I understand there's fear about it. If you've never done it, and bear in mind, in the routine, there is misdirection that you could drive a bus through. But if you've never done it, we'll talk about ways to do it without even doing that move that's got that scary reputation.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a bit in the routine where you essentially do your Mercury fold, and it's all motivated where you do your fold with your back to the audience. So you could physically take the card off the deck and then just do this with it in the time you've got to do that, and it's totally covered,
That's amazing. I was thinking before I went to this interview with you, I was trying to think of another routine where an object that's been in full play the entire time gets changed into a signed card, and I couldn't think of one. I just couldn't. The only two I could think of, like I say, that had any, I was thinking of Look Sharp by Wayne Goodman and The Frog Prince by Mike Close. And both of those are signed.
Well, I mean, obviously Lit by Dan Hoss and Dan White was a big influence, right? But and you can do that. I think they redid it. You can do that sign. They had a routine. But what we both felt about that was that is an amazing trick, and and thankfully Dan Hoss loves Minibook. But this sort of, I mean, you don't see books of matches much nowadays, No. So this kind of sort of brings that type of thing. I mean, that's what this trick's going to be compared to most, I think, is Lit. But this makes it much more accessible now, and it makes it much more interesting, I know it's weird that a tiny laptop off the phone that's going to find your card. I know that's weird, but that's...
It's comedically motivated. That's the thing that... Because the one thing, a matchbook is a real object, I'd argue, in this country. It's so infrequently seen. Maybe there's so few people smoking cigarettes, and those little matchbooks you just don't see.
Yeah.
But a mini laptop, obviously, you don't see those either. But I do. Me and Roddy see them. They're stacked up around here. But surrounded by them. But you don't see them normally, but it's comedically motivated. So that's one of the things I'm most proud of with the routine, is that we're giving you the presentation. If you think, I don't know what to say, no one wants to watch a magician saying, here, I have a deck of cards. So, 52 cards, 52 possibilities, all of that. All of those things, we want to remove that. So even if you are the driest guy, and if you've never performed magic, if you say, I bought this laptop from Wish, but I'm furious, and you pull out the laptop from the screen, or do you think I should return this laptop to the shop? That's funny. That's going to get a smile. And let the audience do the jokes for you. That's the other great thing with this routine is you set it up, you let them do gags. It's one of those things that you'll find your own jokes, and we give you lines to say. You'll find your own, and the other thing, listen to your audience; they'll give you the rest.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what? I'm going to make one more statement about this trick. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I'm telling you, within 12 months, this is going to appear on a Got Talent as an audition.
Do you know what? I'm 100% sure of that.
I guarantee it's the perfect Got Talent trick. Borrow a judge's phone, pull out a laptop, give it to the pretty judge to hold on to, have somebody else pick a card. But it's the perfect Got Talent trick.
All right, God, I think I might do Got Talent now.
It is, though, isn't it? It's like I know enough about Got Talent now to know what works and what doesn't work. And I'm telling you, this is anybody who's listening to this interview, and you've ever considered going on a Got Talent, this right here is the perfect Got Talent for an audition trick ever.
Are we too late to add sort of like television rights reserved onto that? We've done it now.
One more thing while I think of it. For pros out there, because we never mentioned this really on the instructions, and it's something I wish I had. But there's a great thing. Normally, when you're doing a magic trick, the end of the trick, obviously we're in charge of doing the sneaky stuff, so the end happens, and we haven't got a chance to film any of those things because the finish is us. When we stop performing, that's the end of the trick. Ta-da! Look, the card has changed or whatever has happened. The difference with this is when that card changes, whether it be on the table or in their hands or in their pocket or wherever you pop it, when that exact moment, you can say, is it okay if I reset the laptop? And they say, yes, because what on earth does that question actually mean? Pull out your phone as if that would motivate the action of resetting the laptop. You go straight to record. You say, oh, just reset it. And I film their faces and I don't move and I don't say anything more. And I just say, there, I've reset the laptop, and I leave it. And I've been forced in the past to actually tell them, have a look at it, because they just won't. And eventually when they do, you can record them, your audience, from your point of view, because that moment's delayed, and you get that monster reaction for your social media to use on your website. That's why we've got so much great footage, because as soon as you finish the trick, you're in a way, the trick happens for them on a delayed moment. So you can go, you know what, I'll pull my phone out and pretend I'm resetting the laptop. You go straight into record, and that's why you get those explosive reactions, and they're on your own terms. You can record. For a pro, for a gigging magician, knowing that, you know what, just at the end, I can get some social stuff.
Yeah, because like we hadn't realised that until we started going out and performing it, and Noel had said to me, try and get some footage of you performing it. And it was difficult, especially at gigs at weddings and in my residency. It was difficult to say to someone, can you film this without it seeming weird and stuff? And then it was no one said, do you know what? This is what you do. And like what you said, you know, get your phone out and say, let me just reset this. Yeah, that should be it now. And I started doing that, and we've ended up with dozens and dozens of people freaking out and different reactions, opening the laptop. And yeah, I really wish we had kind of realised that when we were filming the instructions, because I think it's a great added bonus that you can, because if you do it during any other trick, say it's the Omnideck or something, you go, hold on a second, you get your phone out and go, just have a look. They're going to be like, why is he filming this? That's weird.
Yeah.
But with this, it's motivated. You're bringing it out. You look as if you're trying to do whatever, you know. So it's great. I do it all the time, and I've got dozens of them on my phone of people going, ah.
Well, one last question, and because I know you guys are busy. Do you think at some point in the future we'll see refill packs come out where it's blank? Because one thing I've been thinking about since playing around with it is it would be amazing to do a mentalism style thing where you throw one of the blank cards into a stack of blank cards and you say, I've got some blank cards here, write down a name on this one, and they put it in the, you know, in the SUC, and you know, you can then steal it out and public. I think it'd be amazing to have a mentalism routine to take it even further away from a card trick and have it so that when they open it up, it's the card that they wrote the name down on. Or I think blank cards would be a useful thing. Could that be something that maybe would be added down the line?
Yeah. Absolutely, we are not averse. I remember you mentioned that before. I think it's a really great shout. And we certainly nothing is off the table. So yeah, we're. I think certainly there's different ways of doing this, and there's fun ideas. It inherently generates different ideas. So yeah, we'll certainly look at that.
Yeah, so, I mean, for sure.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, we're just that's what I'm saying about having a Facebook group as well. I think it's the kind of trick where people will want to post that little video they do at the end. That's where we want to encourage people to do that, to do the bit of let me reset my laptop and film that bit, but also we want to see people's ideas with it, like the idea of using a blank card, fantastic, you know, and then we will listen to that and take it wherever it needs to go.
Perfect. One last question, not to do with that trick, which is an amazing trick, and I'll be reviewing it very soon. But can you drop a timeline on when the second trick from Tick Tick Boom will be out? You don't have to tell me what it is. Roddy's already said you're mulling over like 5 or 6 different things. I don't want to know, but are we going to see another trick by the end of the year? Are we going to see Trick Trick Boom at Blackpool? Are we going to have a Blackpool release? What's the time frame over the next few months?
Well, I will do my damnedest. We both will, to have another trick out by the end of the year. We've like Roddy said, we're spoiled for choice and we love them all. They're like a little kids, and we're like, oh, what about this one? We've got some cracking ideas. I really want to have another idea by Christmas, and we definitely will be at Blackpool. In fact, we've got double stand at Blackpool. We're going big. So yeah, Roddy's going to make some nice little demo boxes for us with our sort of company yellow and black, and we are we're going to demo our little hearts out. We've got, and hopefully for Blackpool we'll have several new releases as well. We've got to get our finger out, but yeah, we've got a trick for Blackpool that I hope that I showed you at the session last year, and is coming along nicely. That I will say, I do like a big statement. I will say will become the de facto opener for people doing anything with a pen, whether with any sign card trick. It is how you start your routine.
Yep,
so
I agree.
Yeah, we're going to have a little interactive part at our booth for people to come along and try out this trick in particular, and get filmed and be part of the trailer for it and stuff, because we'll be doing like a soft release. So we're going to have this little fun little interactive bit that I think people will really enjoy. You know, we want to kind of make a mark at Blackpool. We're a big boom, right?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I can see that you're in it to win it. But real talk, Noel, have you ever worked a booth before?
Yeah.
Have you? You're in for a world of pain, my friend.
I've had my own stand twice, but it is.
Yeah, but I know you buggered off half the time and didn't bother.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, exactly. He's not worked a stand like we have.
Oh.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you two have got beast work ethics. I need a nap. I wonder if I need to speak to the Russes and see if there's a little corner that I can book out just as a little nap. If there was a nap booth where you could have a little kip for an hour and it was 20 quid, you're like, oh, yes.
They should do that at Blackpool. Just have one wall, like now with those Japanese little hotels where you go and you slide into a little torpedo tube with the TV. Oh, pull the shot. Yeah, man, that would go down well at Blackpool. I wouldn't be in it though. I'd be on the stand, demon like a beast. But yeah, we'll show each other.
It's on a mattress under the table.
Yeah, I might put a little thing where you have to, give me a little dig. If you want to see a dem, just if you kick the box underneath the table, I'll get up and immediately dem the trick for you.
Nice.
One more thing is a big old. I mean, me and Roddy aren't used to giving plugs, but we're going to say tricktrickboom.com is the website. If you want to know about all of our exciting new things, sign up to the mail list. I know everyone nags you. We promise we won't haunt you with endless emails. We'll only tell you about the good stuff. So tricktrickboom.com. And if you do want to get mini book, how about getting it from us and supporting the creators? And also, we will be the only ones that will be. We've got the scored cards. So if you want your deck scored, and if you are too lazy, and I know some of our fellow magicians not keen on doing it, it's only 10 minutes work for a couple of quid extra. We will score those cards for you. So visit tricktrickboom.com.
Yeah, and the socials are Trick Trick Boom as well. Instagram.
And it's Trick Trick Boom Magic. Trick Trick Boom Magic for Facebook and Insta as well.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Guys, I know that this is going to be a successful venture just because it's you two. And, you put the two of you together, magic's going to happen. But I'm super excited to see what's coming next. I've had a sneak peek of some things. And as good as this first trick is, and as I said, it's one of the best tricks I've ever seen, People haven't seen anything yet. So congratulations on forming this company. Congratulations on coming together. And thank you, more importantly, for coming on the channel and chatting about it.
Amazing. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And guys, here's what I want you to do. If you're looking at home, leave a comment down below. Let Roddy and Noel know what you think. Go on to Trick Boom's website. Go and subscribe to the mailing list. Go on Facebook. Go on Instagram. And if you've got a trick and you want a really cool production company to produce it, then these are the guys to speak to. The friendliest production company in Magic. I think that's what Noel said officially. But I'll see you guys again soon. One more time, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Bye, folks.
No problem.
Bye.
I'll see you again soon. On behalf of Roddy, on behalf of Noel, thanks for watching the interview. My name's Craig from Magic TV.